Thank you very much, Hannah and Ethan, just for leading us in a time of prayer, just to connect with the divine just for a little bit as we start this day, remembering that we are blessed with a new day. We are given new mercies each and every day, and God tells us, I love you with an everlasting love. Nothing will change. Okay, so as loved brothers and sisters, we get to hear a talk from Friar Robin Toha from the Order of Friars Minor. He'll be speaking on dignity of life and care for soul, okay? He's told me not to say too much to introduce him because he's going to introduce himself more in the course of his sharing. But if you'll join me in giving him a nice, hearty round of applause, that would be great. Very warm welcome, Friar Robin.
Mic test. Oh, hi, good morning, everyone. Before I start my sharing, can I invite you to do one more thing for our check-in? Can we talk to the person next to us and tell the person next to you why or what did you spend the time most with let me repeat. This morning, we wake up, we shower, we have breakfast, we do everything we did before you come here. On which activity did you spend the most time, the longest time to prepare yourself to come here? Okay? From your shower, from your brushing teeth, from your breakfast, from your putting makeup, choosing clothes, everything. Tell to the person next to you, on which activity did you spend the longest time? 30 seconds. Okay, can we come back here? So sorry that I'm being impolite. I must greet everyone first. Good morning, everyone. Professor Christiana, Roland, Samuel, Mr. Eric is not here yet. Let me introduce myself. My name is Robin. I was born in Indonesia. I grew up in Indonesia. I moved to Singapore for university. So because after I graduated from uni, I worked in Singapore. I became a Singapore citizen. Then when I joined the Friars, that's why I joined the Friars of Singapore and Malaysia. I don't join the Friars in Indonesia because I become Singaporean. I worked for about 10 years before I joined the Friars. So this is my family. As you can see, the three men behind, they are my brothers-in-law. So I have 4 sisters, elder sisters, and I'm the youngest. And then the next generation, I have 1 nephew and many girls. It is in the gene of the family, I think. So, growing up in this family with a lot of girls, right? Something that I find a struggle last time, I felt I didn't belong. I find it difficult to be, I don't know what it means to be a man. Because my dad, if you are wondering what happened to my dad passed away when I was 10. So I grew up my adolescence and early adulthood without a father figure. So I grew up with girls. I'm very familiar with what girls do at home. So with them, I grew up happily until, okay, this one and second one and third one, their age is a bit older than me. So I grew up very close to my younger sister. We almost do everything together. We sleep in the same room and then we go for tuition together, that kind of thing. Until one day, she asked my mom, I don't want to sleep in the same room as Robin anymore. I said, oh, okay, what happened? Why? And then she doesn't like to be near me anymore. Because one day she told me, hey, Robin, when I hit my puberty, right, he told me, Robin smells like a man now. And that sticks with me. Because every time, it is quite often that she would say to me, Ayo, so smelly, Ayo, so smelly. That kind of thing, until I felt it is wrong to smell like a man. So this morning, what I spend the time the most, every time before I go out, usually I will choose which deodorant or which perfume. Because I don't want to be too loud, I'm here as a Franciscan, but I cannot be also too smelly. Because that sticks with me, and I'm smelly. Actually, part of my healing is only when I came over to Singapore. I was never a confident boy when I was in Indonesia. When I came to Singapore, so one time as a friar, right, I go with the young adults, we go for hiking, Bukit Timah. Then after we come back, with the young adults, right, they like to do, oh, you bro, we bro, and then we hug each other, that kind of thing. Then I told them, no, I'm sweating. I'm perspiring. No, I cannot hug anyone. Then this young man, he said, no, friar, I'm from SGI. I'm from the soccer team. The more smelly you are, the smellier you belong to the brotherhood. So that was it is true story. It was the young adults from St. Mary's. So I will not name him. So actually, it was really a struggle for me. And until today, even though it is not that important anymore, it is still a struggle. The other struggle that I have coming here, right? I feel I'm very afraid that you don't understand my English. I've been in Singapore for about 24 years. I don't know whether you understand or not because I haven't started the joke yet, but you laugh already. So I've been in Singapore for 24 years. But what scarred me is this. I came and then I was accepted to study in NTU. I thought, I was a good student, overseas student, and then they accept me to study in NTU. But as foreigner, I need to take the English proficiency test. And I failed. So it is the written test, right? I failed. Then okay lah. As a foreigner, I failed my English test. Okay, normal. Then I graduated 4 years ago. 4 years studying in university, right? And I graduated. My first job, because I didn't like engineering, although I studied engineering, so I applied to be a teacher. Because I didn't do O-levels, I need to take English test, which is equivalent to the O-levels. Guess what? This time, I failed at oral test. And I failed oral test after 4 years studying in university and 3 years serving as a lector in one of the parish. I shall not name the parish. Can you imagine what have the people been listening to when I proclaim the word of the Lord? So that scarred me in the sense that every time I think about I need to present something in English, I need to speak, I'm always nervous. Even in my first meeting with Caritas, when they invited me through email, I didn't know what. Okay, I thought, another talk. Okay, I'm free. Okay, I can. Until I realized when I saw the lineup of the speakers, at that time only 4, Professor Christiana, myself, and then Samuel and Mr. Eric Chua. I asked Juliana and Gail from Caritas, I said, do you want to cancel me or not? I will really, really not be offended if you cancel me because I really, okay, you can hear the introduction for each of them. They do this, do that. What have I done to be speaking to you about dignity of life and care for our soul? But I guess I'm here to provide some stand-up comedy for you to be more relaxed, to prepare you to listen to the real contents in the next speakers. But really, sisters and brothers, I ask you, what did you spend the longest time this morning? When I ask my female friends, my good friends, they say this, my hair can be messy, my clothes can be simple, but when I go out, the eyebrow must be on point. Anything can go wrong, but the eyebrow must be on point. That's what she said. That's the most important thing as a lady to go out, she said. Sister Jo, don't be upset. You look very pretty, even though your eyebrow is not very on point. No, I'm just joking. All of us, actually, sometimes we are very concerned with what people say about us. When what people say about us becomes a very loud voice in our minds, it is kind of like haunting us all the time. Is it very important? Some of us will be busy choosing what clothes to wear. How will I appear in public, isn't it? Let me ask you. They are not the most important. All of us agree, right? Any of us this morning thinking, what will I do to care for my liver? What will I do to my blood cholesterol? Are they very important in our life? I think they are very important. But they are very quiet. We pay attention to what is loud in our life. If my appearance is very loud, people start commenting, we will pay attention on that. If the organs of our body is very quiet, we tend to ignore them until they start crying. When they start crying, it is a bit dangerous already. It is a warning. When they scream, it is very dangerous already. That is our life, right? We are very concerned with what is loud in our mind and what people say about us. Our life as individuals is a reflection of our life as a community. Look at all of us here. In the life of a community, some of us are the kidneys, some of us are the heart, some of us are the liver, some of us are the eyes. And some of us are very prominent, very loud, and we pay attention to that. Sometimes the people who are quiet, we don't pay attention to that until they start crying, until they start screaming. Do you think it happens in Singapore? Very much. Remember during COVID, we don't really pay attention about something about welfare of the migrant workers or something like that until we see how come the bushes in our garden not being trimmed? Huh? How come the public facility is a bit dirty now? Then we pay attention. When we don't have enough workers, then we start listening to them. It is the same thing as our body. When we don't listen to our body, especially the silent ones, when it is too late, it is too late. So we have to realize all of us are interconnected. Maya Angelou, a great poet from, says this. She said this: if it is true that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, isn't it also true a society is only as healthy as its sickest citizen and only as wealthy as its most deprived? If we are an athlete, if I'm an athlete, I want to run the fastest. My right leg is very strong. My left leg is very weak or even injured. I can only run as fast as my weakest leg. And that's it with our life too in a society. We can only progress, we can only grow as much as our weakest brothers and sisters. But that requires us to be aware. We need to be aware first. We need to switch off our phone first. We need to look at each other and be aware of what is happening in other people's life. And it is not our culture to pay attention to other people. I was very inspired by this African culture. It is called Ubuntu. I am because we are. Any of you are not familiar with this Ubuntu? Oh, some. Okay, so the story is this. An anthropologist do research in Africa, in a village. So at the end of his stay, he did this. Because from the city, he has bought a lot of sweets and some snacks for the children. So he said this, he put all the snacks in one basket and then put it under a tree. And then he invite all the children from the village, okay, come. Okay, I draw you a line. Now all of you, go to that basket. Whoever reached the basket first, you can have all the sweets and snacks there. Okay, so the anthropologist say, okay, we run together, okay? We start together. 1, 2, 3. And he was shocked because what happened was that the children hold hands together, they run together towards that basket. And then they enjoy the sweets and the snacks together. So one of the child said, how can one of us be happy if all the other ones are sad? And I think that's the spirit of community that we need to remember, we need to live. I always try to remember this because as a Franciscan friar, right, my biggest identity, biggest charism is our fraternity. I love my brothers, although it is very difficult. But what happens is that they make me a better person. It is very challenging. Even in our community, in your ministry, please, you can say, I love my ministry. Yes, but there are people who make our life difficult. But they are the ones also who make us a better person also. So, Archbishop of the Anglican Church, the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu said this. So the African have a thing called Ubuntu. It is about the essence of being human. It is part of the gift that Africa will give to the world. It embraces hospitality, caring about others, being willing to go extra mile for the sake of another. We believe that a person is a person through other persons, that my humanity is caught up, bound up inextricably with yours. When I dehumanize you, I dehumanize myself. So this explains how we are so interconnected, how we are so dependent on one another. We can say, okay, the liver can go wrong. I am the heart. But slowly, the problem in the liver will spread and the heart will be affected. Isn't it? It is easier for us to understand from our own body. Then how about our nature? Now we are complaining, even now with the aircon, I'm still sweating inside. It's the climate change. The question is, do we care enough for our nature? Because it is not the issue of the environmentalist. Because it is the issue for all of us. Because don't wait until the nature starts crying. They are crying ready. Don't wait until it starts screaming, because when they scream, it may be too late. I will leave Professor Christiana to share more about our relationship with our nature. Then, all of us, at the end of the day, sisters and brothers, especially us who are Christians, we know the spirituality that God made all of us to be one. Jesus, in his prayer to his Father, said, may they be one, just like you and I are one. Can we live that? Whatever we celebrate in the church, whatever we celebrate in the Eucharist, it must flow out to the life outside. It cannot remain in the church. It cannot remain as our prayer only. It must come out in our real life as well. Then, if we see that our life is not that good anymore, our nature is not that good anymore, our community is not that harmonious anymore, then what should we do? Just like when our phone is faulty, what will we do? I think most of us, our phone faulty, it's time to change. Throw away, buy a new one. Isn't it? But if we want to repair it, if we want to restore it, we need to go to the user manual, right? We need to see what is the notes from the manufacturer. Because they are the one who made it, they know how to repair it, they know how to restore it. And for our life, for the Christians, this is what we believe. This is our user manual from the book of Genesis. We can see that in the beginning, God created everything, and He saw everything is good. This is the whole universe, right? But I want to show you the next one. When it comes about humanity, this is what we see in the Bible. Let us make humankind in our image according to our likeness. And then not only that one line, the Bible continues saying, so God created humankind in His image. In the image of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air, and every living thing that moves upon the earth. God saw everything that He had made, and indeed it was good. This is the definition of humanity that our user manual put for us, that we are created in God's image and likeness. What does it mean if we are created in God's image and likeness? We are supposed to be like God. We have that image of God in us. When Jesus came 2,000 years ago, He actually showed us what it means to be human. That's why in the Bible, in the gospel, we always see Jesus reach out to the sick, reach out to the poor, reach out to the sinners, the people who don't have anything in their life to hold on to, the quiet ones. So, if we believe that, how should we be? We should be in love with God's creation, all of them. We should be caring and nurturing. We should be understanding and patient. And we should always be believing and hoping. Because God never loses hope in us. He believes in us that we will understand who we are and we live as who we are. When God created the whole universe, God didn't plan to change it. God didn't plan, okay, cancel this one, throw away, and then I create new one. When God created us, He didn't plan to cancel us, but He wants us to transform to be who we really are, who is created in God's image and likeness. So, in my story, my insecurity of my body smell, my insecurity of failing the exams, they drive me until I realize and I have to make choices not to believe in it because they are not truth. And in our life, if our fear, our insecurity, our anger, our sin drives us, actually we will live very bitter, very angry, very unhappy. But if we realize that we are God's created human, created in His image and likeness, if we have freedom, hope, love in our hearts, then we will live our life also just like who we are meant to be. When we see the sin of others, if we know that we are created in God's image and likeness, then we see, oh, what happened to this person? What makes this person so angry? We want to share compassion and mercy to this person. But if we are driven by fear of our own insecurity, what we see is only ourselves. We draw boundary. I cut you off because you don't belong to me. But if we realize that we are created to be one, just like God who is one, then we should love, we should care for one another. So in the end, sisters and brothers, caring for one another, caring for the nature is not a Franciscan thing. It is not about Christian thing. It is about human thing. It is us. This is our dignity. So I will close my sharing again that God saw everything that He had made. And indeed, it was very good. Do we see what God sees? Thank you.